Welcome back to Haddonfield and Beyond, your one-stop shop for all things Halloween and sometimes beyond, but not tonight. We're sitting down to, I almost called this a classic, but why don't we refer to it as a retro Halloween movie? 1989's Halloween 5, the sequel to my favorite movie, Halloween 4. And joining me on this one, feel like it's only right to do it with him in the house. It's Kieron. I don't know why this is your favorite Halloween movie, but couldn't do it without you. What's going on, man?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite Halloween movie. I'm way higher on it than every other person I have met. But I don't know. I just think it's fun. Like, I understand all the criticism. Like, I get it. The police music is stupid. Like, the mask, the neck hanging out is stupid. Like, there's lots of stupid stuff. But it's got lots of Loomis in it. He's really unhinged and goofy. And I don't know. I just enjoy watching it. Whenever it comes on TV, like, I enjoy watching it just as much as I enjoy watching 4, which is like a far superior movie. Like, 4 has so much better stuff in it, but I enjoy watching them both, like, pretty much equally.
Wow. I feel like we have mountains of evidence somewhere on the archives of this channel that you say an H5 is your favorite, but maybe I'm misremembering that. Also joining us tonight, he is, well, man, you picked a hell of a movie to pinch hit for. He was already slated to do Halloween Resurrection, which will happen. We're not positive if Resurrection will happen before Halloween or during the month of November, but Resurrection will happen, as will Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. They're just not high on the priority list. I know we'll have these fellas back for Halloween Kills since they did a bunch of the coverage for it. Hoping to have Tommy B and Matt on those ones as well. We're going to do H1 and H2, which was supposed to be last week. I was under the weather. Mike was under the weather. So now that's slated for October the 15th with Jason Nike. And other films we'll be doing as well. But tonight's Halloween 5. During our watch party, I'll be picking some of the slower times during the movie to introduce some behind the scenes topics. I read up on, or listened up anyways, on the audiobook version of Taking Shape Halloween 5 coverage. And we're going to splice those out into their own videos like we did with our Halloween H2O watch party. Johnny, any fond memories of H5?
Bond? I don't know.
I believe you and I watched an H5, H6 back-to-back movies way back in, like, had to be somewhere between. So was that my small place that I moved out to, and we must have watched those movies back to back, and started at like 2 a.m. and didn't end until like 5:30 a.m. It was pretty wild.
If memory serves, that was during a soccer World Cup. We went from watching those movies to I stayed awake and watched soccer, and you fell asleep on the couch, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's soccer, so. But I can't do that at my kids' soccer. That's frowned upon. So, If you guys have anyone tuning into the live chat right now, I know it won't be a super active night because we haven't had the stream listed until today, but feel free to share your Halloween 5 thoughts in the chat. We're queued up at the when Mustafa Akkad presents, when that first pops up.
Come on.
We'll give a little bit of a like a 5-second countdown. I'll go start at 5 and say go once we passed 1. Kieron, you talked a little bit about what you do like about H5. Have you? I don't think we've ever done a watch party of H5 on the channels, not to my knowledge. If we have, I've liked it.
I don't remember. I do remember us doing an in studio at your place for 6 because we watched the other cut. I know I've done a couple. I did an H2O one with you before. I remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know there's a bunch I didn't do as well. I don't know. I couldn't say, actually. I couldn't say. It may or may not have happened.
Don't be hating on soccer. Well, my kid plays now, so I can't be falling asleep during his games. Probably wouldn't end well for me. Yeah, so H5, it's pretty down on my Halloween list. I need to do another rating or ranking update, but just wild behind the scenes stories with this movie, the making of it, the director thinking he's cutting a WWE promo while pitching the movie was quite funny, and we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. But before we get into it, Kieron, is there anything that really stands out to you for this movie in terms of why you do like it so much? Because I think you might be the biggest H5 fan I know outside of my cousin.
Oh yeah, I'm the biggest H5 fan I've ever met. I'm always online. Every time someone's like H5, blah blah blah, I'm there to type H5 is a masterpiece. Lots of people probably see me online. I just say the same thing every time. I mean, honestly, I love Loomis in it. I think he's really entertaining. I love Jamie. I love the fact that she's mute. I think is cool. Like, I love the stupidest sci-fi stuff that happens. Like, I love the Jason movie where there's like a person who has telekinesis. Like, it's one of the worst ones, and most people don't like it. But when they mix random random, psychic powers or any sort of, really odd out there sort of thing, like, that's what I'm here for when it comes. Like, I'm not scared of any of these Halloween movies, so I'm not here to be scared. I like the campiness, and for me, like, Halloween movies with Loomis are they gain a lot of points with me. Like, Halloween movies without Loomis are quite often, like, that's why I'm so low on H2O. Like, a lot of people love it and think it's great, but like, I'd rather take any movie with Loomis in it because I like him so much. I think he's more important than Michael in a lot of these movies. Like, I'm more interested in the relationship between the two of them than I am the relationship between Laurie and Michael. So, I don't know. Take that for what it is. I like campy movies. Like, I'm a big Leprechaun fan. Like, people can be like, oh, those movies suck. And you're like, yeah, they do. But remember that time he kills the guy with a pogo stick? Like, that's all I need.
Our buddy Matt says, will watching H5 change your opinion on Wendy Kaplan? For me, okay, I can't judge Wendy Kaplan as an actress because I haven't seen her in very many other things. But if you're asking if it's going to change my opinion on Tina, no.
She's fantastic. I have no problem with her either.
American Turkey Burger says Leprechaun's great. Oh, boy.
I'm questioning taste all around.
Yeah, so let's not encourage him. We haven't even started the movie yet. So, speaking of which, though, let's give our countdown. It's about an hour and a half movie, so let's dive into it here. I'll start at 5, and we'll go. We're at Mustafa Akkad Presents. Might have been on my screen for not even a full second. So we'll be all close. Please keep your movie muted when you're not watching. or when you're not talking, sorry. And let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Donald Pleasance in Halloween 79. You're right about Pleasance, though, man. Like, the Halloween movies without Loomis are missing something, which is probably why they've been, heavily leaning towards going back and doing something with Loomis for the TV show.
Mine's screwing up. Why is mine screwing up? Mine keeps on doing the same thing and saying starring Daniel Harris over and over and over again. Damn it.
I'm paused at Matthew Walker. Everybody pause at Matthew Walker. We'll see if Kieron can get it fixed.
Unbelievable.
Our second watch along we've attempted to do, and the intro credits just seem to cause us problem after problem. I know Johnny was heartbroken today when he woke up and remembered it wasn't Halloween Resurrection, but we nursed him through it. That one's still to come.
Who you paused on?
Matthew Walker.
Okay. Mine's working now, but I'm at Mustafa Cat again, executive producer. Is that ahead? Ramsey Thomas. Dominique. Oh my God, I gotta go back now. Oh my. It's going about as well as the movie.
This masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece.
I do not think that word's what I think you think it means.
Well, when Kieron tries to find Matthew Walker, we'll give him a minute or two. Mike Brown says, most slasher films know they're B-rated movies. They're not made to win an award most of the time, so they're going to go after the extra mile for entertainment and shock value. Yeah, why don't you ask Ellie Cornell about that?
I mean, so it depends. Like the original Halloween is a really good movie, like a movie, like not just a good horror movie. The original is a good movie. After that, until you get to the current movies, like they're all horror movies. It might be good for horror movies. Like Halloween 2 and 4 are great, but they're not great movies. They're great horror movies. I think 1 is the only one that you could really count as like, man, that's a really good movie. Like done well, Okay, we're gonna have to go to a different name because mine just fizzles at that part of the movie. I have to skip over it for it to make any sense.
So it's still screwing up for you?
Yeah. If you guys can pause at Robert Draper or the 3 names Michael Jacobs, Dominique, or I don't know, whatever. Pause at a different name because that name doesn't come up for me just because.
All right, just give me a second.
Pause at Robert Draper. For some reason, the movie doesn't work before that for me. It just skips for a second. Probably no one who works for this for this service has watched this movie to fix this correction.
Director of photography, Robert Draper.
Yep.
All right, so we are paused at director of photography, Robert Draper. I don't really want to give a timestamp because we're literally all watching different versions of this, and they won't necessarily line up.
Yeah, that's fine.
As I imagine that the chat is as well. I am watching the Scream Factory H5, which finally just got opened today for the first time after being in the package for like 3 years. So, yeah, if you had Laserdisc, none of this would happen. Laserdisc, wow. I was actually about a month and a half ago looking up the price of some of the Halloweens on Laserdisc. Wow. If you if you have a player and you're a massive Halloween collector, um, you're looking at like $300 a pop. It's nuts, absolutely nuts.
Are we good to go?
I'm good to go on Robert Draper. Johnny, you there?
I'm cute on Draper.
Okay.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You could tell I'm a half second ahead of you because my my background flashes just before yours. But that should do.
Yeah, we're close enough. Yeah, you're about a full second ahead. A nice slice of pumpkin. I got some pumpkin bread.
I love when he turns there in Halloween 4. His anatomy looks totally like it makes no sense.
You
It
mean
looks like
Mannequin
his
Mike?
shoulders are growing out of his head.
I call that Mannequin Mike.
Yeah.
Because he was wearing either hockey or football shoulder pads.
It just looks like a mannequin to me. Like, it doesn't look human.
God, I cannot wait to watch H4 again. I've probably gone my longest stretch without watching H4 ever in my life prior to never seeing it.
You got the best sheriff again in this movie too.
Yeah, I'm a Meeker over bracket guy.
I,
What's going
I
on,
think
Jesse?
that's general consensus, really, is it not?
No. General consensus is definitely bracket over Meeker. We're in the minority on that one, my man. Michael with a H2O style quick mask change.
You can tell that's a human fearing for his life and not Michael Myers, but it's hard to shoot that one.
Poor Don Shanks was put through hell on this movie.
As you get older, you realize just how much the life jacket sticks out.
What are you talking about? He clearly popped a shoulder or something. Dr. Death. Matt's favorite, Bird Stew. This is my
Saying
first
that's
time
Steve
watching this
Williams.
movie
That
in
guy's played by Steve Dr. Death Williams.
This is my first time watching 5 in 4K, and the Scream Factory transfer of it's just amazing. It looks great. That is what we're meant to believe, Apollo. Matt says catheter. Indeed, Dr. Death.
Do you guys think that you guys think that Michael like doesn't just shit in his suit?
No, it's got a butt flap.
Oh, I love Danielle Harris in this movie. I think she's amazing.
Thorn. Kieran and I just have lightning going off every other second. Meanwhile, Johnny's just not doesn't have it affecting him.
There's an absence of thunder in space, I believe.
Johnny's smart. He's not actually watching the movie. He's just pretending to watch.
How did you know?
What's going on, Nick? Long time no see, buddy. Hope you're doing well. We're being exposed to H5 tonight. Very rude way to treat the guys that's taking care of you for the last year. People complain about not leaving a big enough tip. Michael left more than just the tip. This shape has returned for one more time to make babies. That's a little down the road, but yeah. Poor Jamie really gets just put through absolute hell after H4.
See, like Loomis just shows up, and I just like I'm just happy as soon as he shows up on screen. He just shows up, overacts like a crazy hobo, and like this. I don't know, just makes all the movies for me. He doesn't even honestly like. He is a good actor, but like it's not even that. I don't know. I just like him. Such a great character. And in this one, he like attacks her in the bed, and the nurse is like, "Get away from him, you crazy man!" Oh,
Loomis
man.
is
So
already
good.
halfway through a 26er when this thing starts. Travis says, I'd ask how it's going based on tonight's selection. That would be like asking Frank Castle how his family's doing. Yeah, hello, Phil. Ugh. Imagine sitting there and going, Rachel, who was a favorite from the last movie, we're going to, again, this didn't happen exactly, but we're going to shove a pair of scissors down her throat so we can go with Tina instead.
It's about a killer. Like, the movie's about. We're supposed to keep her alive all the like. Where's your Game of Thrones sense? Kill the people like.
Didn't exist then, damn it. Travis, I considered you a friend before this comment. Johnny looks like he's trying to figure out what the hell he's watching.
I'm actually
more
walking
likely
through the
trying to
steps
figure
of
out
how I got
why
roped
he's
into
watching.
this.
Big Cookie Woman needed to be the lead. So, a few times during this movie, we are going to be talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff with the movie and splicing it out for its own short form content for the channel for those that didn't get to tune in. And here's one of them. So the director Dominique Othinin Gerard or whatever, um, his reasoning for killing Rachel early and going with Tina, he had a few reasons behind it. One, it was not originally written that way. Rachel was supposed to survive until the end of the film, and Dominique decided that they needed some sort of shock early on before Rachel's upcoming death here, and he felt like killing a character that become a fan favorite in 4 um, would be a hi Michael would be it shows up painfully clear in the 4K, um, but would be to kill Rachel and transition the final girl role to Tina. Um, and the reasonings were Tina was more um, acidy, is I believe the term he used. It has more spunk to her, more attitude. She's less goody two shoes. But then I quote, he did not want a blonde female to be the final girl. He wanted someone with dark hair. That's a direct quote from the director. I'm sorry, but what? Thoughts on the reasoning behind making that change, fellas?
I'm not sure. The hair thing, like, what do you comment about that? I don't know. He's got something for, like, not. He's not into blondes. I don't know.
He
I
brought that
do
up
like.
unprompted too in Taking Shape.
I do understand, like, yeah. One is like Rachel is like a more of a main character girl. She's more of like a person you can relate to. Like she is more the final girl type. It makes sense. She seems responsible enough. She seems like relatable enough and nice and kind. And Tina is like a spunky, like spunky, goofy, skips class, parties type of person. It's not the type of person that, I mean, I guess probably girls who like horror movies probably can more relate to her in a lot of ways, but um but like I understand why people like Rachel more. She is more of that type that you probably want to see as a central character. But I don't know. I think Tina's fun. I think she's a fun character, and I don't care so much for her because for me, it's always, like I said, it's always Michael versus Loomis. It doesn't. The other characters are background characters, and Danielle Harris is more important than Tina as well. So it's different in a lot of ways. It doesn't bother me, but I understand why people are upset about it. So
Johnny, do you find the reasons justifiable?
I mean, the first half, the hair color part notwithstanding, that's just stupid reasoning. But you know, wanting to, sort of strike at the fans and eliminate a character that they liked makes a lot of sense in the horror genre. It's a common thing in horror movies, and to do that makes sense. It's a shock. It's something you don't expect, which that's fine. That's all well and good because that's a big part of horror movies, right? So, going down that road, sure. But, you know, uh, when you get into the minutia of your reasoning is just silly, you know.
Oh boy, you're just dumb and dumber. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get a character as strong as Rachel in H4. I'm not saying she had to live all the way through this movie or anything, but it you're gonna have moments where you're trying to defy the expectations of the audience to provide some shock and awe, if you will. But to do it this early in the movie, to do it in favor of Tina, a character that can't seem to follow the plot of the movie or stay, engaged with what's happening around her, is just wildly puzzling to me. But then to like almost boast about, I didn't want a blonde to be the final girl and wanted like, give me the shock and awe reason, I'll take it to an extent. Not that I agree with it, but I'll take it. But then to make it about the blonde, yeah, I don't know. And we'll get into how Dominique pitched the him taking over the sequel to begin with, but like the dude's a little out there. You'd think he's a professional wrestler at times. Anyways, though, we would like you guys to let us know down in the comment section below whether you're watching the live stream or you're watching the clip out after the fact. Are you a Rachel person or are you a Tina person? Do you agree with the change? Do you agree with the reasons that they went away from Rachel and went towards Tina? Let us know your thoughts down there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications to all to keep up with our future content. And also, like, Rachel's so smart and four. And there's just so many times already in this movie, it's like she's just willfully ignorant. I mean, wouldn't you?
apparently the director didn't.
Halloween 5, starring Vince Russo. Travis says his opinion isn't one to go by, as he thinks the 78 film is quite bad. I don't think it's as bad, but I don't think it's as high up as people make it out to be.
See, there's some great stuff in this movie.
Loomis is just off the bender at this point, though, too. Fucking poor Meeker, whose daughter quite literally got a shotgun shoved up her vagina. He's like, "Have you forgotten your own daughter?" It's like he wanted Meeker to just shoot him.
It's apparent that he's separated from humanity at this point. He's not so much a doctor anymore. It's funny too how like his prosthetic chains all the time. Like it's way worse. You're like, did you burn yourself again? Like what what happened? When did you light yourself on fire again?
God, I fucking hate her. Loomis looks like he got into a fight with a coffee pot. The mask in this movie looks like a goddamn gopher. So there's this the
I guess
Halloween.
were they saying it like his head was just too big for the mask?
So the Halloween 5 mask in this movie, the original plan was to stick with the mask from H4 and obviously make it look more weathered. And Dominique, the director, was completely against it and didn't like the H4 mask. And I'm not a big fan of the H4 mask either, but it's better than this thing. And he raved in taking shape about how amazing the mask they made for H5 was. Some people might know Greg Nicotero from like The Walking Dead and some other things. He worked on this movie. Um, and just raved about how they made the mask look mean and angry, and how it was far superior to the H4 mask and right up there with the original mask. And man, when I see the H5 mask, it's one of those. Even with H4, I think H4 is the best made Halloween movie, and the mask at times, if it's lit right, looks great, and when it's not, looks terrible. In this movie, I can't find, other than when he's in the water, a decent shot of the mask. The mask for me completely takes me out of this one. Johnny, what are your thoughts on the H5 mask?
It's awful. It looks like somebody stuck an air compressor under his neck and just give it a puff before every shot. Like, it's not, it doesn't look good. It just looks disconnected to the body. Like it looks like they fit the mask for a guy whose head was like 6 inches wider than the person actually wearing it. You know, like it looks like he took his older brother's mask for Halloween. You know, it doesn't fit. It doesn't look right. And no matter how you film this scene, it can't make up for that.
Michael Myers is literally standing right there, right in front of Tina, and doesn't with a weapon in hand, might I add.
That's pretty bad. I mean, it's a gardening tool, and
Like,
presumably he's in there gardening, but it is really bad.
like
I don't
she's
know.
so fucking clueless.
It's not that they couldn't see him, because I think, if they're just looking, they see a guy in the bushes or whatever. Like it's that any other person in that area would be like, what the fuck is that guy? Like, it could be someone looking right on at him, or like walk by right beside the tree and be like, what the fuck? Like, he's not covered at all. So objectively, it's really dumb. But whatever.
Travis says it looks like Nicolas Cage and Butthead. I do find that this mask has a little bit of a Nicolas Cage resemblance. But yeah, the H5
That's high
mask,
praise.
not a great improvement. There's a callback to the H78 shot. Fucking poor Jamie getting stalked again. Let us know down in the comment section down below what you think of the H5 mask. Where does it rank in your overall Halloween mask rankings? I'm just not a fan of it. Yeah, the Halloween H2O masks was a disaster, and they just willingly kept making it worse.
If it like, I wonder, I wonder why they have such a problem with this. Like, does it cost that much to make a mask that they can't? They'd be like, oh, that one sucks. We better make another one. Like, I don't, or like they just don't see how bad some of these things are. There's like, I think there's more bad masks than there is good masks. If you like listed them, and the ones in the middle, I think would probably still be bad.
Pretty sure Dominique Othin and Gerard there, the director, thinks he walks on water, and we'll get into some of that a little later. But I don't think he thinks any of his ideas are bad, and still thinks that H5 is one of the best Halloween movies ever made.
I agree.
Poor Jamie. At this point, Loomis probably just thinks, or regrets not getting the shot off quicker at the end of H4.
I mean, honestly, like he feels that Michael is his problem on the whole time. Like he's like all these deaths are on him. I think it's pretty obvious that like he's like this guy's my responsibility, and now he's like, that's probably why he is fucking deranged and crazy and whatever because he hasn't been
Hey,
able
it
to
is
stop
Ray.
them. Lots of people have died. Yeah, the man in black. Yeah,
Another
I don't
proof
know.
we've known each other too long when that's this exact thought that went through my head.
I don't know. Loomis is awesome in this movie. I can't say that enough times. I
He's
think he's
the
amazing.
best, most redeeming part of this movie by a country mile.
Yeah.
It's the I'm a great actor, I don't care what you think performance that makes it for me.
Travis asked, fun question. If you could have made the man in black someone else, who would you pick? Can be existing or a new character. Can we have not having him in at all as an option? Um, uh, so my cousin did this fan film that I was a part of many, many, many years ago, and he had it turn out to be the man in black ended up being um, Michael's long lost brother. Funny enough, the way it's written in this is that was the original intention. If they were going to go one way or another, it was going to be Mike. This was Michael's brother, but being 6 years passed between H5 and H6 and several different attempts at a sequel to it, it just sort of becomes its own thing.
I
AKA
need
Dr. Win.
I need a shot of him getting off the bus and then just JR over top of it. By God, that's gotta be Kane. Like
Yeah.
Yes, because someone's paying the electricity, Donald.
Charlie Bowles, that would have been a good one. I would have dug that. Someone said Will Smith.
Clearly, the only correct answer is Freddy Krueger pre-death. Yes, I've been dealing with Michael Myers for 10 years, but a possum possum is what truly scares me.
At this point, I think there's no length Loomis won't go to get Michael. He's hit that point.
I don't so much care for the guy who works at the store there, but I love the fact that they have this character, and then obviously later Michael wears the mask and everything, and like this is a good short role horror movie guy who you want to see get killed. Like you see this guy for 3 seconds and you're hoping that he gets killed in a gruesome way, and he does. So I don't know. I like that. This other guy I don't care so much for, but
They're both dipshits.
I did think it was funny that in the making of the dude in the flannel there basically said he had a stupid like laugh and that's why I got the part. Like,
Mama Cookie. Seems rather intentional for what we're watching.
so good. Big cookie lady. Have I mentioned how much I love this movie? It's I'm enjoying it right now, guys. If for everyone out there who's like, "Oh man, this is terrible," I'm sitting here enjoying this movie. I love this movie.
Mama Cookie is a true horror fan.
The only answer I have for Mikey is one of the writers was just a really big Grease fan.
By God, stop the damn match!
Yeah, see that's awesome. That's a great old school horror movie kill. The guy did a good job of making it look like he was choking. That's for sure. He fucking. It was good. It was good. It was fantastic.
Travis Mitchell sends in a generous $5 super chat and says, "You don't have a police force."
Come on, this little pirate guy. He's charming too.
So, fun fact about Billy in this: um, the the production crew bought him a BMX bike, and he was gonna like do a bunch of BMX bike tricks in the movie during some of his scenes, and he couldn't figure out how to do it, and they had to scrap a bunch of his scenes. naturally, pardon me, Tina has no idea why Mike won't take off the mask in the car. Doesn't question it at all. Travis says began writing his own H6 for fun and thought not revealing who the man in black was would be a cool direction. Yeah, drag it on further and leave the mystery in there. You ever want to share any of those details, feel free. We welcome it. I will take Halloween 3 over Halloween 5 any day of the week. I'll take Halloween 3 over quite a few Halloween movies, though.
Still haven't seen it. Still,
You need to
I don't.
rectify that.
I just keep thinking like, oh yeah, I should see it every Halloween season. I think I should watch it, and then there's just really like I have almost no desire to see it. So I'm only seeing it because other people are telling me it's good. I don't really have any desire for it. So
It's a fun movie.
I take it over probably close to 50% of the Halloween movies.
Yeah, I'm probably close to that amount too.
I remember the first time I saw the RZ, like the first zombie one. Like I thought it was good, and I was like happy with it, but I wasn't like a Halloween fan at the time. Like I think I had seen only like 2 Halloween movies at that point or something. But like once I got into watching Halloween movies and I've seen them all, I've seen them all 20 times at least, even the shitty ones. Um like that I started hating it more and more because I was like, oh, this is not, you know what I mean? This like it if it wasn't Michael Myers, if it was his own movie, it would probably be pretty decent. But the second one is just fucking, I mean, it's awful. There's still some funny parts about watching it, but it's pretty awful.
Man, I'm not like I'm not a giant cookies. Uh, I don't know. I'm not an H5 guy, but the fact that I haven't seen it in a couple years makes it more tolerable. If I'd seen it a few months ago, I probably wouldn't want to watch it right now. But the last time I seen it was by accident on a Thanksgiving at a family get together, and I walk out into the living room and what fucking Halloween movies on TV? It's H5. It's like, oh, you couldn't have picked any other one. Barry Sims. Fuck Barry Sims.
She's like, big cookie woman.
Haddonfield's finest. So when Dominique, the director, came in to make his pitch to direct the movie, there was already a script for Halloween 5 that existed, and he came into a meeting with Mustafa Akkad, Sham Bitterman, who had done the script for H5 at that time. I believe that was his Killer Inside Me take, which I would have preferred way over this movie. And there was some executives there as well. Um, he had some time to study over the script before going into the meeting, and they asked him what he thought of the script. And he's like, "Can I be honest with you?" He picks the script up from the table, walks over to the trash bin, and throws it in the trash bin. And Mustafa Akkad was all offended, and he's like, "Let me ask you a question, a serious question. Do you want to make Halloween 6 one day?" And I mean, this is how the director tells the story anyway. And Mustafa's all offended, and he's like, "How can you even come in here and say this to me?" And um, excuse me. And so then he's talking about how the other writer and the executives are like side eyeing him, and they're all pissed off at him. And he's like, "If you want to make Halloween 6 one day, this is what we do." He walks over to the door he came through and invites in his writer friend to come in for them to pitch H5 to them, keeping in mind the writer friend um, was not invited to the movie. Mustafa Akkad was like, "What the hell is this?" And anyways, that's kind of how H5 came to be what we know it as today. Is this guy went in there with almost this Hulk Hogan like attitude, and that's not going to work for me, brother, to the damn owner of the franchise. And to his credit, he won him over, but my God, like that's a ballsy ass move. Thoughts on that, fellas?
Grapefruits. The guy's got grapefruits.
If it worked, I don't see how we could. I don't see how we could say that, like, oh, terrible move or whatever. Like, it's, a pickup line if it works, and it works. But I don't know. It sounds like, it sounds like maybe the guy's not probably wouldn't have been long tenured anyways. Even if this movie was good, probably would have, talked himself out of the next job anyways. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you can make fun of a move that works. Sounds like it was crazy or whatever, but it's Hollywood. I'm sure selling yourself like a wrestling promo is it's the same sort of thing, I guess.
If you don't believe it, no one else will.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why all wrestlers are egomaniacs.
Jade said he George Costanza his way into the movie. Kinda accurate. So after that happened, Mustafa Akkad then lowballed the writer at that time. Um, so that writer walked away, and he came back for another meeting and brought an additional writer with him, and basically did the same thing and ended up getting the movie. But yeah, that's oh, I love how he finds this exact replica of the current Michael mask.
I don't know if that one actually looks better than the current one. Or at least it fits his head properly.
Oh my God. But yeah, that's the story behind how Dominique was able to land the director job for H5. God, I fucking hate Tina. This dude's getting his hopes up for a threesome. Menage a trois.
That might be the only way to salvage this movie.
What, are you not finding it riveting?
I want to rivet my skull.
Instead of puppies, it's kitties. CJ Massey says he's going to NXT in Chicago tomorrow.
I'll enjoy it.
That's pretty cool.
Definitely be more fun than watching this movie.
Oh, his new beard. The barn scene, actually, I'm not a big fan of this. They might have been able to do this better.
Feels like a
don't know.
steal from Friday the 13th.
It does kind of feel more like it's from Friday the 13th. That's actually really good. I feel like that's a pretty on point comment. It's different because, you know, like, you get the weird campy kills, and then that's what people watch Friday the 13th for. Like, you know, there's not as much to those movies as there is to Halloween movies for the most point. And
Yeah, not even close.
You
Trying
know,
to wrap
but
my head around where all this light's coming from.
car
Try
headline.
watching the 4K version. It stands out even more. It's way too well lit.
The light is shining around like it's middle of the afternoon, and the sun is directly overhead.
Mercifully, Tina doesn't have long to go.
It's already been too long.
I will give H5 this. They don't do a bad job with the suspense. What a dick.
I would have peed myself.
Karma's a bitch. We got a pre-Mark Hamill Joker laugh there.
Let's not compare that man to Mark Hamill.
Just look at the adorable couple.
The laugh, I just can't. Sounds like a wannabe Joker. Alan Howarth is a genius. So no complaints on that front. Except for the cop music. That's unforgivable.
This goes on for way longer than I remember. I guess probably like I've seen the AMC version probably doesn't go this long.
She's already got more screen time than Rachel. The Bulk and Skull music. Yeah, precisely.
I remember I referred to it as that at one point as well. Yeah, it is like for me, it's the only like completely like unforgivable part of this movie. Like all the other stuff, I'm like, yeah, but whatever, it doesn't get in the way. That is just it's like oh, I
Michael
don't
likes
understand
watching.
how anyone I don't understand how anyone could have thought it was a good idea. I like how Michael's scar on his hand there, like, is like the exact same as the scar on Loomis's hand. Like tell they went through the same thing.
And yet his face is perfectly fine.
He was wearing a mask.
The mask protected him from the H2 fire.
Exactly.
How about the eyes getting shot out?
Well, you know, he regenerated or something.
Maybe if Dominique would have actually watched Halloween 2 before making Halloween 5, it might have gone somewhere, considering it is a sequel to 1, 2,
Anytime,
4.
anytime you see anything like that, you know a wizard did it.
He literally owned up to never watching H2 before making H5. Like, it's literally in your timeline of movies. You have to watch the movie. Ah, the two cops. Mercifully.
What exactly is he supposed to be?
Mickey Mouse on crack. We've gone too long without a Loomis appearance for my liking. It's not a bad beginning, Travis.
I love thinking to myself that those guys got stabbed at the same time. Like they were head to head like this and they both got stabbed. Like I like to think it was one shot that killed them both because they're both so fucking stupid.
I'm picturing the Doink the Clown theme when they get stabbed. Do.
That guy's life turned into a horror movie, I think.
Which guy?
Doink the Clown.
Okay, which Doink?
The Matt Bourne.
Ah.
Not Billy.
See, I'd be pissed if like I care for Billy. That scares me. I think him trying to protect her and everything like that. Like I think he's a great little character. Little. I like his part in this movie. You know, a lot of people don't like him.
Yeah, I didn't know how well I knew him until today.
So, fun fact: Don Shanks, who played Myers, actually crashes the car into that tree at about 30 miles an hour in the movie, making of the movie, and that's why the effects look so good. They're actually real effects. That's the car doing that. And the fucking director had promised him that he would call cut so he could get out of the car really quickly and they'd shoot the rest. And instead, he lets the cameras roll for 10 seconds longer while the car's on fire. And Don Shanks, when he got out, was just like, "What the fuck, man? You were supposed to cut that like 10 seconds earlier." So that's the longest 10 seconds of my life.
I mean, imagine dying in a fire because you're waiting for someone to say cut.
I forgot how long this movie felt.
If I had my horns, I'd put them off.
Oh, there you go. You know, she sacrificed herself, and you hate her. Like this is bullshit.
Oh no, Travis. Oh no.
You lost me there, Travis.
Travis for president. That's what I say.
Loomis is just stalking them.
Yeah, he's just there. Instead of trying to save them, he's just trying to study Michael instead. He's like, he doesn't give a shit.
I don't know how well you could see it on your end, but in the 4K version, everything's obviously a little more brightened up. And like Loomis is like shimmy stepping to the side behind the trees as they're backing up there, and it just looks fucking ridiculous. Fucking Meeker to the rescue.
Yeah, but this now Loomis goes back and talks to him, and then that part's awesome. This part's awesome.
Oh no, not Tina.
In 3 sentences or less, Travis just summed up this movie for me.
I changed my mind on Travis. He's a piece of shit.
Well, now I say Travis for president.
That's because they killed who was supposed to be the main character with a pair of scissors. Michael's just listening to him. Come home, Michael. I have cookies. Can't get Rachel out of his mind. I'm surprised they didn't have that in the movie. Insert some distant yelling, hey, would you shut the fuck up? Some people are trying to get laid over here. The Myers house went through one hell of a late facelift. It's almost like it's an entirely different house that doesn't resemble the Myers house. Yes, we have. It'll be October the 15th that we do the doubleheader. And that'll be with myself, Mike Bish, and Jason Knight. Did they need to send that many cops back to the medical facility?
You know, all the times I've watched this movie, I never noticed that Troy Evans was one of the deputies.
We're currently doing a Halloween 5 watch party. Definitely in the last act of the film now.
Thank God.
That guy just sat in his car the whole time while I was approaching. I don't know, maybe he was concussed from the hit, but
Yeah, you're not alone on that one. We were very critical of the mask earlier on in the stream. Walks up there like they're fucking beer buddies. we have a editorial coming out on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, hopefully sometime in the next week or so, with a bunch of different contributors. Um, it's a guilty pleasure to watch. Oh shit. Poor Loomis. Oh God! Throw in the damn towel! Um, it's a pretty bad Halloween movie in my opinion, but it's a guilty pleasure to watch because of how bad it is. But considering the shit Rob Zombie was put through to make that movie, I'm a little more forgiving of it now.
I always like to say it's a good horror movie, bad Halloween movie.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It's also hard to watch. Like, the language makes it really hard for me to watch too. Like, I get, like, people who like Rob Zombie movies, like, it's a trademark of his just to, like, have the trashiest human beings, like, possible in it.
I
Like,
mean, you know, like, I'm gonna skull fuck you, you little bitch.
yeah, like, he just, I don't know. He's really into having that just, like, super trashy, like, awful human being people, like, in all of his movies. And that's kind of his trademark. But, like, I think that's why most of his movies I watch once. And whether I really like them or not, like, I'm not going to watch, House of a Thousand Corpses over and over again because, like, it's just like you watch it once, you might like it, but you really don't need to watch it again and again because of the trashy sort of cringy things that are said throughout the movie.
I enjoy them. Like, I like Rob's horror style. I just can't watch them more than once every couple of years. That I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't
I
exist.
fucking love the Munsters, so I don't know if I can try his Munsters movie. I think it would. I don't think it would ever live up to expectations.
I've been anti his Monsters project since it was announced because I'd rather leave the memories alone.
Does he always have to hire his wife? Short answer is yes.
Do you have a wife?
Like, if you can't be nepotistic in Hollywood, where can you?
That's kind of a cool shot. Yeah, I think Sean brought up a good point in that there's some pretty decent suspense in this movie. It's like, I do agree that there's just too many. Like, there's like, oh, and then it happens in the forest, and then they go to the house, and then they, like, there's too much. Like, if they could just make those scenes bigger and more important rather than, like, sequencing, you know, then the barn happens, then this happens, then the forest, then the, like, it seems like there's a lot of things that could be the final, and then they're not. And even this is not really the final. So the finale, I guess we say, but. I'm a lot more critical of 6 in the same way, though. I know a lot of people like 6 over 5, but I don't know if for the same reason I'm not a big fan of 6, but it's a fun enough watch as well. I don't know. Like if I'm gonna watch a marathon on AMC on a day, like watching 4, 5, and 6, I think is fun.
I will gladly take the producer cut of 6. But yes, the suspense is pretty decent in this movie. That's one thing they did achieve. Like the laundry chute scene here is great.
I think it makes a big difference. Like it makes a big difference that it's a kid getting away, and that in this movie and in 4, like you feel differently for if you feel differently for a small little girl than you do for some of the like most horror movies are teenagers just trying to bang and then they all get killed, and it's like, okay, well, like
think-
you don't really relate to them or whatever, or you're not scared for them, but like most people are going to feel more sympathetic for kids.
I think that's the fault of this one, that the the main aged up heroine isn't intriguing, because there's no real threat to Jamie. They're not going to kill a kid. That's just a bridge too far for horror movies, which is the way it is. But you don't have that threat of Michael quite as large when you don't have a character you're invested in under threat.
I don't know, like I see how that makes sense, but if I'm thinking logically while I'm watching the movie, then I'm like, oh yeah, well they can't, like when you see a famous actor and you're like, okay, well he's not in here to be in here for one scene, which Scream withstanding or whatever,
Which is
but,
why Scream is such a great thing.
Yeah, but
Because that's the exact
but
reaction.
for the most point, I see a movie and like, especially like I'll watch a movie with my wife and she doesn't know actors and actresses as well, so like she'll be like, oh, like who do you think is the bad guy in this one? Like, well, it's fucking that guy, because that guy is fucking I know who he is. He's a bad guy all the time. Like it doesn't matter that he's a nice doctor right now. He's the fucking bad guy. And
this movie has Giancarlo Esposito. Of course, we know who the bad guy is.
yeah,
that sort of thing. Yeah,
it's gonna happen. So, but like we were saying before, this is another one of those sequences. Like it's just added on to like the several other sequences, and then later Michael like fighting Loomis. Like it's like there's too many things that are packed into this house scene, and they're on top of a few things that just happened. So we are right now at the part where Jamie is lying in the casket.
Yeah, Michael's about to go maskless, and he's gonna have no injuries from H2.
I got 127 on timer, so we're pretty much right at the end.
This part's amazing, Sean. Shut up.
There are exceptions to every rule. And that's Stephen King. It doesn't count. That rule doesn't apply to Stephen King.
I know people like disagree with Michael being somewhat humanized or whatever, but oh, this part's awesome. Come and get her, little girl. so good. He's so
Loomis is full
insane,
on
dude. He's
lost it at
covered
this
in
point.
blood. Come and get her. I like the James Bond gunshot there. It's like the exact same golden eye sound.
What a doctor.
Tremendous. I love how earlier they're like, she's like, "Can you kill him?" And he's like, "I think I know how." He's like, drop an head on him, and then you tranquilize him, and then you hit him with a board. Like, it's just like, that doesn't really seem like something that would kill someone who has survived 5 people opening fire on him, falling into a well. But that's what you want to go with there, Doctor. I fucking love the idea of this scene, though, that he beats him to death, and then Loomis like has a heart attack here, which doesn't really happen, but it.
Well, like if there was no H6,
yeah,
and even if there was going to be an H6, it was Dominique, the director's decision to kill Loomis here.
yeah,
like Loomis just had a heart attack and is supposed to be dead, and they made the choice to bring him back for H6.
yeah.
I don't like Loomis dying via heart attack, but
I just think
Michael on in the jail cell there on his knees playing with the chains kills me.
It's bad.
Like
this whole actually, if you take this whole scene out and just add something else at the end there, and yeah, like if it's really H5 and if it's really the end and Loomis had a heart attack, like beating the shit out of Michael to death, and it would have been like it would have made sense. It would have been a good it would have been a much more powerful scene, and like that's how I feel about the scene, knowing that it was supposed to be that way. But even with just this added thing where Michael's fucking playing around with the chain at the end, and I mean the whole thing about like this whole scene is stupid, right? I don't know. It I would say that beyond the cop music, this is the most problematic thing in the movie, really, for me. And it's filmed stupid too. It looks dumb.
it's like a 30s gangster robbing a bank.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking, I don't know. It's just Clint Eastwood.
It's me, John Dillinger.
Just gonna rat-a-tat my Tommy gun.
Travis says, would you consider Loomis a hero or an anti-hero? I'd consider him a hero for the most part, but this movie, it's definitely more anti-hero.
He's a hero with select anti-hero tendencies.
Yeah, he could have got Jamie killed at any point.
Exactly.
I don't know. He's like it. I couldn't say he was really either, because he's written as like he's written as a person who is like trying to take care of, like trying to keep Michael away. Like he's just his whole career in life is tasked with keeping this guy from getting out, and then when he gets out, stopping him. And like it doesn't really seem like he's a he's a hero. He just seems like he feels guilty for all the shit that happens, and he just does his best to stop him and does a shit job most of the time. But I don't know who's going to do a good job stopping Michael Myers. So
I've never been so happy to see a credit start in my life.
I'm going to watch it again probably in like a week. So I'll probably see it on TV. I'll probably watch it. It's like that's why I don't know. I don't know what it is about. Like, yes, I know it's not a great movie in so many aspects, but like if I see it on TV, I'm gonna watch it again. I don't know. If they could somehow cut out parts that have less Loomis and make it more Loomis filled, and I don't know. There's a few things they could probably edit and fix it a lot for me, but I like it the way it is. I don't know. I don't know.
Johnny did mention earlier about not.
H5 is a masterpiece.
Johnny mentioned earlier about not killing Jamie. No, they only put her through hell and then kidnap her. Pardon me, for like 6 years, and then have her get raped by her uncle. Yeah, don't worry. I think the killing would have been better.
Well, by that point, she wasn't a kid, so they could kill her.
Yes, in the shooting script, it is Meeker that walks in there and finds Michael gone, and Jamie's just kind of vanished. "2018's on FX right now. Sounds like you picked the better movie to watch."
2018 is pretty fantastic. That's it has to be a better movie. So, and you know what? I would rather watch 2018 as well because I think that movie's amazing. I love that movie too. Yeah, I don't know. I think I see more and more people with the point of view now that it's pretty bad, but like I watch it. I still watch it when I do watch longs or watch throughs, or I still have enough fun with it. So I feel like the perception of H5 has changed a little bit.
Oh, this was fun.
In
I
the
had a
time
good,
that
I had a
I've been
good
a
time.
Halloween fan, but
I had a good time on here with you guys and enjoying it, and the chat was active, and I appreciate that, and there'll be a lot more people for H1, H2, H4, H kills, but probably still as few people for Resurrection and Rob Zombie's H2. Honestly, thanks for coming out here and doing this, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. There will be some sort of live show tomorrow night. It won't be a full one. We're going to dive into some of the Knights of the Old Republic news and some of the Halloween TV series news. Not really that there's news about it, but the Chucky series being canceled has a lot of people asking questions. They shouldn't be, but we'll talk about that anyway. And then next week on the back half of the show, when we get to the Beyond portion, we're going to dive into what was the Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy of movies. There was an interview with the writer from that before it became a show, and just how different it was. And so we're going to dive into a bunch of that stuff too. Kieron, where can everybody find you at, man?
nowhere. I don't do anything.
He's in 1989. He's enjoying.
I am on
every
Facebook,
night.
and I'm on Facebook, and if I notice someone, even if I notice the name from the chat, I'd add you if you tried to add me. But I don't have any other projects. I don't do anything. I don't know. I'm trying to become as zen and focused and do lots of meditation and yoga these days. It's all offline, all that stuff.
Good stuff. Johnny, how about you? Where can everybody find you at?
Oh, here, there, and everywhere. Twitch.tv/bros before pros.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Big thank you to our channel sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do all the content that we do cover. Jason Knight over at Backtrack Cinema. Jesse, who's been here for a portion of the night at Jesse's Storytime Spectacular. Ryan at Kaulignation. And Matt, who's also been here. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do the content that we do. Debuting next week on the channel for the first time, years in the making. Supernatural Revisited. We got a bunch of episodes recorded and banked, and we'll start releasing 1 or 2 a week. We haven't decided yet. And we're doing a rewatch of that series, so be on the lookout for that. And then over on our Legacy of Westeros channel, we have a rewatch coming of Game of Thrones, and we just finished doing recordings for episode 3, Lord Snow, and episode 4 as well. So be on the lookout for that over on our Legacy of Westeros channel. But that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you to Kieron and Johnny for making this happen. We'll be back with more Halloween movies in the month of October. And we'll see you next time in Haddonfield and beyond.